Welcome to UINDY TV. I'm Graham Shear.
And I'm Hannah Hurley. A shooting that took place early Tuesday morning around 2 a.m. in Houston, Texas, left one person dead and 2 people injured. Takeoff, who is a member of a well-known rap group called Migos, has died. He was only 28 years old. The private party was being held at a bowling alley in an entertainment hall where there was about 50 other individuals at the party. There were security guards at the scene, but unfortunately they did not see who fired the shots. When police arrived at the scene shortly after 2:30 a.m., there were dozens of people crowded on a balcony outside of the bowling alley, which was located on the 3rd floor. There was 2 other victims of this shooting that are told to be in stable condition at this time. Investigators say this is an active investigation and that they are investigating leads at this time.
This past weekend was very emotional for the people of Delphi, Indiana, as police are closer than ever before to finding out what really happened to Abby Williams and Libby German. Indiana police have arrested Richard Allen in connection with the Delphi murders, 5 years after the murders of the 2 teenage girls in Delphi, Indiana took place. 13-year-old Abby Williams and 14-year-old Libby German disappeared as they went for a hike along Delphi historic trails in February of 2017, at what was supposed to be the end of their exploration. Abby and Libby never showed up at a previously arranged time to meet Libby's dad, police said, and their bodies were found the next day in a wooded area near the trail, about a half-mile from the Monon High Bridge where they'd been dropped off. A grainy video of a man walking and static voice recording were among the clues authorities had over the years. For the past 5 years, the case remained unsolved until 50-year-old Richard Allen was arrested last Friday. Allen is currently being held in jail without bond, and officers have not yet shared details regarding what led to the arrest of Allen. However, in his initial hearing, Allen pleaded not guilty. Court documents in the case are currently sealed with a pretrial date being set for January 13th, and a full trial is set for March. Indiana State Police Superintendent Doug Carter said today is not a day to celebrate, but the arrest is sure a major step in leading to a conclusion of this long-term and complex investigation. As Delphi citizens continue to be shocked by this arrest of one of their neighbors, some are hoping this makes Delphi a safer place.
The man accused of attacking House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband is charged with attempted murder. CNN's Josh Campbell has more from San Francisco.
I am here today to formally announce charges against Mr. David DePape in connection with the violent attack on Mr. Pelosi.
The San Francisco District Attorney charging the man accused of attacking Paul Pelosi, the husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
The charges that we are filing today include attempted murder, residential burglary, assault with a deadly weapon, elder abuse, false imprisonment of an elder, as well as threats to a public official and their family.
Those are state charges. The Justice Department earlier charged DePape with 2 federal crimes: attempted kidnapping of a U.S. official, Nancy Pelosi, and assaulting a U.S. official's immediate family member. Authorities say the suspect brought 2 hammers, zip ties, rope, and a roll of tape with them to the Pelosi residence. San Francisco's district attorney now offering a chilling timeline about Paul Pelosi's face-to-face encounter with the alleged attacker, starting with the defendant allegedly breaking into the home through a rear glass door, before finding Mr. Pelosi sleeping on the 2nd floor. The DA saying the suspect woke Pelosi up and forced him out of bed. Mr. Pelosi attempted to get to an elevator in the home to reach a phone. DePape allegedly blocked him. Pelosi eventually asked the suspect to let him use the bathroom, where he called 911 from his cell phone. 2 minutes after that call, police arrived. When they opened the door, they saw this.
The defendant was holding his hammer, which Mr. Pelosi appeared to be attempting to control by holding a portion of that hammer. The defendant then pulled the hammer away from Mr. Pelosi and violently struck him in the top of his head.
Authorities debunking right-wing conspiracy theories about Pelosi's attack, including that he knew the assailant, and making the suspect's motive crystal clear.
There is absolutely no evidence that Mr. Pelosi knew this man. As a matter of fact, the evidence indicates the exact opposite.
It appears as though this was based on his statements and comments that were made in that house during his encounter with Mr. Pelosi, that this was politically motivated.
The FBI's criminal complaint revealing the suspect told San Francisco police of his plans to hold Nancy Pelosi hostage and speak with her. He explained if she lied to him, he planned to break her kneecaps so she would have to be wheeled into Congress, telling police that scene would demonstrate to other members of Congress there were consequences to their actions.
He has received surgery for a skull fracture and injuries to his right arm and hands, according to a statement from the Speaker's office. He is currently in recovery.
Bolsonaro reporters block a main highway in the city of São Paulo to protest Lula's win as the new president of Brazil. The supporters of the ex-president caused major delays and disruptions in at least 19 states across the country on Monday. A CNN crew in São Paulo saw close to 100 protesters on a highway leading up to the city's main airport. This resulting in São Paulo's main bus terminal having to be canceled along with several other bus lines due to the protests. Despite having called for the roadblocks to end in several states, the large city saw close to 100 protesters. The country and social media will continue their controversial debates on the election results.
Parkland shooting suspect Nicholas Cruz is set to be formally sentenced to life in prison later this week, but not until the families of his victims have one last chance to speak face-to-face to him in court and say their piece. You stole him from us, and you did not receive the justice that you deserved. Deborah Hickson, the widow of victim Christopher Hickson, told Cruz in the first statement Tuesday morning. You were given a gift of grace and mercy, she added, something you did not show to any of your victims. Hickson was referring to the Florida jury's decision not to sentence Cruz to death. 3 jury members voted against the death penalty, which in Florida must be anonymous for it to pass. Cruz, 24, who pleaded guilty last year to 17 counts of murder and 17 counts of attempted murder, is expected to be sentenced today.
A Christmas parade disaster last year. We'll tell you much more, and we'll have much more coming up after the break.
Sorry, but before we start, you should know our terms and conditions.
I'm kind of in a rush.
You understand that by using the service, you may be exposed to content that is potentially dangerous, offensive, harmful to minors, unsafe, or otherwise objectionable, and you're using the service at your own risk.
What?
Let's go.
Ride-hail companies typically claim they aren't liable for their drivers. So read the fine print. Always ride responsibly.
Just one more rinse and you are all done. I wonder who that could be. I'll be right back, sweetie.
Children can drown quickly and silently. About 2/3 of in-home drownings occur in the bathtub.
Oh no! Call 911!
Turning your back for a moment could mean missing out on a lifetime of moments. It only takes a few seconds for a child to drown. Never leave young children alone in the bathtub or around a container of water. Visit cpsc.gov to learn how to prevent in-home drowning.
In 4 out of 5 school shootings, the attacker tells someone about it first. Call 1-866-SPEAK-UP to anonymously report a weapon threat at school.
Darrell Brooks was found guilty on all charges such as intentional homicide after driving an SUV through a Christmas parade last November. The 40-year-old man from Wisconsin faces life in prison after killing 6 individuals and having injured multiple more, resulting in 61 counts of recklessly endangering safety. His youngest victim being only 8 years old, A couple weeks prior to this horrific event, Darrell Brooks had also been released from jail on a bond of only $1,000 after committing a similar act and hitting his child's mother with a vehicle. Brooks decided to represent himself in court and was required to be separated from the judge and jury after his constant argumentative and disrespectful behavior. Even when he was required to join his hearings digitally nearby, Judge Jennifer Doro kept his microphone on mute so he would no longer be a disruption. His case has since grown an audience and been followed on social media platforms such as TikTok, reaching over 1 million views. Darrell Brooks will now face life in prison starting November 15th after the ruling was declared last Wednesday. It has been reported that Brooks is considering appealing the decision.
For Twitter users, some radical changes are reportedly coming in place as only a few days have passed since Elon Musk took over. At least 4 top executives have been terminated, including the CEO, and the company's previous board of directors was dissolved as part of the merger agreement. There are rising concerns from groups that there could be more hate or misinformation on the platform because of this change. We saw over the weekend Elon Musk tweeting out misinformation, a conspiracy theory about House Speaker Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi, who was attacked last week. That famous blue badge that verified users on the platform get to prove they are who they say they are has normally been reserved for NGOs, big organizations, celebrities, journalists, sports teams, etc. But Musk wants to make it available for anyone to get themselves verified on Twitter. It is going to come at a price, though, reportedly of about $20 US a month, and may not go down so with the people who already have those blue badges. Twitter might be putting staff and current users of Twitter through a roller coaster of emotions for at least some time to come.
Over a century later, Atlanta Medical Center shuts its doors for the last and final time. The company WellStart made the decision to shut down the hospital in August after a loss of revenue and the demand of workers and supplies increasing. This will leave only one trauma emergency department in Atlanta for victims of car accidents and other violence in the area. With the increase of crime in Atlanta rising, this could put victims of violence and other life-threatening incidents at risk.
The city of Rochester is hoping a bright pink envelope in the mail will help take a bite out of crime. People suspected of illegal activity will be sent a letter in those pink envelopes. As Chase Wool explains, City Hall is targeting people who create demand for the illegal drug trade.
Driving in the area.
Inside the envelope, a letter with details of their encounter with the drug dealer and a list of criminal and safety risks.
This is not an inner city, low-income problem. This is a problem, frankly, of people who have money to a great extent and are not city residents to a great extent.
While filming this story, we saw RPD and its narcotics team going into a business on North Clinton. That's just a few blocks from where Cliff lives.
And I walked to the been to the AutoZone, and Needles right there at the door, and just, you know, people walking down my street right here.
Cliff says he's been sober now for a year after using crack cocaine for nearly 20 years.
We can't do it on our own. You have to always ask somebody for help, and that's what I did.
Maybe this will scare some people enough that they'll seek the help instead of continuing to come to Clinton Avenue or wherever else they're coming to buy drugs.
Chase Howell, 13 WHAM News.
The city's attorney says they will use license plates to identify people buying drugs. They hope to begin sending those pink envelopes out next week.
A shooting happened outside Woburn Collegiate Institute in Scarborough Monday afternoon on Halloween. Shortly before 3:30 p.m., police were called about reports that a person was shot outside Toronto High School. Officers attempted life-saving measures and the victim was rushed to hospital, but later died, they say. Not long after, a second victim walked into the hospital, also suffering from gunshot wounds. He has since been transported to a trauma center, police say, and victims are believed to be in their teens but aren't yet confirmed. Police are asking for witnesses and anyone who may have cell phone video to contact them. The shooter was last seen fleeing westbound from the area, and he is described as a male wearing a black jacket and a COVID mask.
Thanks, Graham. Stick with us because when we come back, we have Liam with sports.
Yes.
Sorry, but before we start, you should know our terms and conditions.
I'm kind of in a rush.
You understand that by using the service, you may be exposed to content that is potentially dangerous, offensive, harmful to minors, unsafe, or otherwise objectionable, and you're using the service at your own risk.
What?
Let's go.
Ride-hail companies typically claim they aren't liable for their drivers. So read the fine print. Always ride responsibly.
Just one more rinse and you are all done. I wonder who that could be. I'll be right back, sweetie.
Children can drown quickly and silently. About 2/3 of in-home drownings occur in the bathtub.
Oh no! Call 911!
Turning your back for a moment could mean missing out on a lifetime of moments. It only takes a few seconds for a child to drown. Never leave young children alone in the bathtub or around a container of water. Visit cpsc.gov to learn how to prevent in-home drowning.
In 4 out of 5 school shootings, the attacker tells someone about it first. Call 1-866-SPEAK-UP to anonymously report a weapon threat at school.
Welcome back to UINDY TV. It is now time for a sports update with Liam Blaze.
Thank you, Graham. Thank you, Hannah. I'm Liam. As the NASCAR Cup Series entered its penultimate event of the season at Martinsville, a Floridian driver proved that he was willing to do whatever it took to make the final transfer spot into next weekend's championship race. In the closing laps of the Xfinity 500 at Martinsville Speedway, Ross Chastain was losing position to make his way into the championship race. On a last lap ditch effort to advance, Christian rode the wall and improved from the 10th to the 4th place in a matter of mere seconds, shocking the racing world. Chastain even broke the track record at 18.8 seconds, going more than 50 miles per hour faster than any other driver. In his post-race interview, he admitted he was fully committed to the maneuver and said, "I played a lot of NASCAR 2005 on the GameCube with his brother, Chad, growing up. You can get away with it. I never knew if it would actually work." Chastain has been both praised and criticized for his past and was now dubbed as a video game move. Now we're going to switch roles. We're going to go to NBA now with the Houston Rockets at the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers, led by Paul George, look to beat the struggling and rebuilding Rockets. We'll take a look at the highlights now.
A victory. The Clippers losing 4 in a row. The Rockets just 1-6 to begin the season.
About to start, the Clippers, because of the Kawhi Leonard is out yet again and has only played 2 games this season with only 21 minutes per game. And they want to look to build off a 2-4 record to go 3-4, and they really should be winning the conference. They're dubbed favorites to win the title this year, and they should continue to do so. This player right here, Paul George, was a reason behind this victory with 35 points, including 5 threes, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, 6 steals, and 2 blocks. And he's only the second player in 25 seasons to have that stat line. As Paul George shows that he did with a pull-up 3 right in his mouth as he continued to do that all game. Kenyon Martin with the block there, doing it on both ends as he comes down the court. There's another replay on that to show the block. Great block from Kenyon Martin. He had the team high 23 points, 6 rebounds, 1 steal, and 1 block of the night. As you can see right there, he nailed a 3, does it on both ends. Coming down the court, the Clippers get it with Paul George and junks right down the baseline and goes and dunks it on top of his head. Again, he had 35 points, showing why he should win MVP this year, even though it's only been 4 games. Sengun, looking like prime Hakeem Olajuwon out there, looking like the dream, looking like giving him a little shake and bake on Zubac over there. And Paul George hits another 3 right in his mouth to continue the score. Clippers up 71-67 with a minute left in the third, and Kenyon Martin here with 2 dunks to try to get the Rockets back and gather them and to go into the lead. 5 minutes left here in the fourth, and this is where Paul George really took off. The smoothness of his game and just his creativity with the pull-up jumper right over Kevin Porter Jr. 93-93 in fourth quarter with 5 seconds left. Paul George hits a knockdown three or knockdown mid-range right on the baseline to win the game 95-93. This moves the Clippers to 3-4 and the Rockets to a mere 1-7. The Rockets are going to want to build off of that. Next game, we got the Detroit Pistons at the Milwaukee Bucks. The undefeated Bucks, still without Chris Middleton, are looking to improve on their undefeated record against the young Detroit Pistons team. They are the 4th youngest team in the league with an average of 24.8 years as they look to identify as a team still. They don't know who their number 1 is going to be. They got second-year Cade Cunningham on their roster still, and they got rookie Jaden Ivey on their team still. Just a young team trying to improve on everything possible. Or they want to tank and go for Victor Wembanyama, but you never know what they want to do. As Giannis gets a tough and 1 bucket, hopefully he could improve on his 2 MVPs and win a third and go in for history with a tough Euro over Isaiah Stewart. He looks like he could be the favorite in the second week of basketball to be the favorite for the MVP. Second-year player Cade Cunningham with a tough mid-range over Jrue Holiday, showing why he should have won Rookie of the Year last year. He finished with a team-high 27 points, 6 assists, 7 rebounds, and had 3 threes. And rookie Jaden Ivey from Purdue, showing why he should also win Rookie of the Year this year. He had 19 points and 7 rebounds, a good showing from the rookie. Giannis just showing his dominance and trying to get a tough mid-range over. Bucks up by 4 with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Cade Cunningham comes down and passes it to Isaiah Stewart, who gets a pretty easy bucket in the dying minutes of the game. Where was the defense there? That's a good question. Bucks coming out with Jrue Holiday with 40 seconds left in the fourth and gets a mean step back on Jaden Ivey and hits the 3 for potentially the game winner. I don't know about that celebration though. He should probably work on that, especially if he hits game winners like that. Giannis gets blocked as he tries to go down and dunk it on top of him, coming down. Kelly Olynyk with the ball, going to Cade Cunningham with a wide open 3, but misses. He hit 4 that game, but should end up making that. Next game, we're going to go to the Chicago Bulls at the Brooklyn Nets. And that was the sports update. I'll give it back to Graham and Hannah.
Thanks, Liam. Thanks for that update. It should be an amazing finish to the NBA season. After this, we'll have an entertainment update with Kendall Pearson. That and much more coming up on UINDY TV.
Sorry, but before we start, you should know our terms and conditions.
I'm kind of in a rush.
You understand that by using the service, you may be exposed to content that is potentially dangerous, offensive, harmful to minors, unsafe, or otherwise objectionable, and you're using the service at your own risk.
What?
Let's go.
Ride-hail companies typically claim they aren't liable for their drivers. So read the fine print. Always ride responsibly.
Just one more rinse and you are all done. I wonder who that could be. I'll be right back, sweetie.
Children can drown quickly and silently. About 2/3 of in-home drownings occur in the bathtub.
Oh no! Call 911!
Turning your back for a moment could mean missing out on a lifetime of moments. It only takes a few seconds for a child to drown. Never leave young children alone in the bathtub or around a container of water. Visit cpsc.gov to learn how to prevent in-home drowning.
In 4 out of 5 school shootings, the attacker tells someone about it first.
Welcome back to UINDY TV. It is now time for an entertainment update.
Thanks, Hannah and Graham. I'm Kendall Pearson, UINDY's favorite entertainment anchor, and we have a lot of tension in the media industry. Tom Brady and his wife Giselle, they just announced their divorce via social media last week. In his appearance with the Jim Gray on the Let's Go podcast, Brady stated, "You focus on work when it's time to work, and then when you come home, you focus on the priorities that are at home. All you can do is the best you can do. That's what I'll continue to do as long as I'm working and as long as I'm being a dad." Rumors of divorce arose after Tom came out on retirement from the current NFL season, and rumors of Tom choosing football over his children and wife have spread rapidly across social media platforms, which Brady has recently denied. Both Tom and Giselle repeated pleas on their social media posts, saying that the public needs to respect their privacy of his family and his wife during these moments of transition. You better listen up if you're a Swifties fan, because Taylor Swift is officially going back on tour. The singer announced the news Tuesday on social media that her Eras Tour will kick off in Arizona on March 18th. Swift says the performance will be a journey through the musical eras of her career, both past and present. She will have stops across the U.S. and will wrap up on August 5th in Los Angeles, California. Swift has been breaking charts with her recently released Midnight's album. She is now the first artist to simultaneously claim all top 10 spots on the Billboard Hot 100 list. Tickets for the Eras go on sale November 15th. If you are a fan of the Oscars, The View is facing backlash after having a child dress up as the Oscar slap for the Halloween show. The show was supported to be a showcase of costumes based on hot topics in the news. Ashley Kaufman had thought adding this costume would bring laughter to the show, but all it did was bring major discomfort amongst viewers. One person tweeted, "Super funny making kids dress up in a costume that represents physical assault." Another tweeted, "You can obviously see this child's pain and discomfort." The View has yet to comment on any situation, but viewers are still talking to Twitter and other outlets to voice their concerns. Actress Lupita Nyong'o returning to the horror genre. Director Michael Sarcone confirmed on Twitter on Tuesday she is set to star in A Quiet Place Day One. Not much is known about the plot, but the film is a spin-off to the Quiet Place franchise. Stars of the primary movies, John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, are reportedly not expected to appear in it. The news comes as Nyong'o's most recent project, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, is slated to enter the theaters next week. This jump is the first time she has jumped from action to horror. Nyong'o's performance in Jordan Peele's film U.S. gained critical acclaim in 2019, the year after she also starred in the first Black Panther film. This time, fans will not have to wait that long. A Quiet Place Day One isn't expected to run in theaters until 2024.
Thanks, Kendall. I don't know about you. I am not the biggest horror movie fan, so I'm not sure I'll be going to see that one. Yeah. More news when we come back on UINDY TV.
Sorry, but before we start, you should know our terms and conditions.
I'm kind of in a rush.
You understand that by using the service, you may be exposed to content that is potentially dangerous, offensive, harmful to minors, unsafe, or otherwise objectionable, and you're using the service at your own risk.
What?
Let's go.
Ride-hail companies typically claim they aren't liable for their drivers. So read the fine print. Always ride responsibly.
Just one more rinse and you are all done. I wonder who that could be. I'll be right back, sweetie.
Children can drown quickly and silently. About 2/3 of in-home drownings occur in the bathtub.
Oh no! Call 911!
Turning your back for a moment could mean missing out on a lifetime of moments. It only takes a few seconds for a child to drown. Never leave young children alone in the bathtub or around a container of water. Visit cpsc.gov to learn how to prevent in-home drowning.
In 4 out of 5 school shootings, the attacker tells someone about it first. Call 1-866-SPEAK-UP to anonymously report a weapon threat at school.
On Tuesday, November 1st, SpaceX launched the Falcon Heavy rocket, the most powerful rocket in the world currently in use. Launching from the Kennedy Space Center, Falcon Heavy is delivering payloads for the U.S. Space Force. The mission, titled USSF-44, is expected to deploy 2 spacecraft satellites into orbit. The purpose of the satellites is currently classified, but 2 of the boosters used by the rocket will land back on Earth, a quality SpaceX has been trying to utilize in order to reduce space debris and reuse parts. The launch was also viewed on the beach by many local onlookers throwing watch parties.
Thank you for joining us on UINDY TV News. I'm Hannah Hurley.
And I'm Graham Shear. Have a good night.